being an entrepreneur, there's stuff that comes at you all the time.
Yep.
You have to be able to pivot and move forward.
Yeah.
Everything that I've been through with Hannah and Hooch, and it's been rough.
Yeah.
My first batch, I lost $60,000.
Wow. Can you say that again one more time?
My first batch, I lost $60,000.
Ouch, that hurts.
And it's little old me.
Yeah.
You know, and I look back and I'm like, you don't learn anything when you're winning.
Yeah, correct.
You learn more when you're losing.
100%. What's going on, my people? Welcome back to It's Not Dead Because It Isn't Dead. Today, I'm bringing you a real treat. Hannah Lusk, she is the owner and founder of Hannah and Hooch Whiskey. It's a whiskey brand that has recently actually won multiple awards. She's actually also a successful realtor. And on top of that, she's a board member at Time Out Inc.
Yes.
Time Out, right?
Time Out. Yep.
Which is a domestic violence shelter, which, you know, we can get into that as well.
Yeah, it's the only operating shelter within Gila County for the last 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, 100%, Hannah. Yeah. We, looked you up and all your stories super inspiring.
Thank you.
And as you guys know, it's not that. It's all about bringing people here that have made it, that have had actually a success story within any type of business, in all honesty, any type of industry, and that are living proof that the American dream is well and alive and that it's not dead. So, yeah. So with
I'm
that,
excited.
Awesome. So with that, I just wanted to kind of start with, your background a little bit. You said you're fourth generation Arizonan.
I am fourth generation Arizonan. Lived in Payson, Arizona my whole life.
Okay.
I did a little stint in the Phoenix area for about 6 years, exploring and working, and moved back home for my family. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Never graduated high school.
Okay.
And just started working.
Nice.
Everything that I have, I've worked hard for. I didn't have, my parents were not very well off. Yeah. And so everything that I've done has been on my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? 15,
It was wild.
Okay.
There's a lot of...
You just decided, hey, no more of my parents. I just want to be on my own.
Honestly, so I look back now because my son is about a year away from that.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, how did my mom do that?
Yeah.
I have no idea how she did that. She's like, yep, let her go. Mm-hmm. It was really hard. Slept on couches. Till I was about 18.
Okay.
I had my first house at 18.
Oh, wow.
3 jobs. Heck, I've had 3 jobs ever since I can remember.
Wow.
Just, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Fun journey. Learned a ton.
Yeah.
At a really young age.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and based in small town, like, you love it there. What's the main reason?
I love it there. The population is 16,000, give or take. It's beautiful. We have elk walk through town. Yeah. We have resident elk walk through town. You can hike anywhere. It's the largest national forest in the state of Arizona. Okay. Beautiful. I think it's like the 6th largest in the nation. Tons to do outside, hiking, fishing, all of that. So I grew up fishing, hunting. Yeah. A lot of outdoor stuff.
Small town USA.
Small town USA. There's, the politics suck.
Yeah. I bet, yeah.
Small town antics. Yeah. And everybody knows your business.
Yep. That's right.
Everybody knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or they think you know.
Yeah.
It's funny, some of the rumors that go around. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I did that.
Just let them think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you were saying that your great grandfather settled or went to Payson first? Yeah,
my great grandfather came over in covered wagon from Arkansas.
Wow.
Driving 1,000 head of cattle. They came over the rim, which the Mogollon Rim, It's just to the north of Payson. So they were looking down and they're like, how are we going to get this wagon down? And so the cowboys took the cattle around the mountain and then they kind of like tethered the covered wagon down the Mogollon Rim. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Kind of crazy. Yep. And they settled in Little Green Valley down there, which is just east of Payson.
Yeah. It's beautiful over there.
Area.
Yeah.
Beautiful
really
area.
Beautiful. Yep. Yeah. Especially for cattle.
It is. Yeah, it is.
That's nice. That's nice. So then on that, obviously, grew up with, that kind of upbringing which is, the small town traditional values.
Yeah.
Which again, I think that nowadays we've lost those things.
I agree.
I think that that's something that, and why I have this platform is because I want to bring that back.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the times we just forget, kind of what brought us to this point.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
We didn't just land here, know.
I agree.
Like you, it's like anything in business. You have to work hard. You have to do all the things that you got to do. You're talking about blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
It's true. And, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm sitting in this desk and I have this brand and it's successful and I'm getting awards. But that wasn't the case when you started.
Right.
Right? It wasn't the case when you started. And that's the case with America, right? America didn't start the way it is today,
I think back on where did we go wrong there? And I know that our parents are like, I'm going to make my kids' life easier than I had it.
Yep.
And I look back and I'm like, you don't learn anything when you're winning.
Yeah, correct.
You learn more when you're losing.
100%.
And so I think that may be where a piece of where maybe we've gone off track there. Yeah. There was no hardship to learn how to do better. It was always just given to us to make our lives easier or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
think about that sometimes.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And, and talking about small towns, and nothing against big cities, because, obviously there's a part in society that everything plays and everything kind of helps, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you, like I remember, I'm originally from South America, from Ecuador, and my mom came here, I don't know, like I think it was 94, but she just came to visit, right? Because my dad had a big old job with an American company and they were training him in Georgia. So he went to Georgia, Missouri, in different states. And when she came back, I remember I was little, I was probably 7. And I remember her saying, hey, whatever you see in Hollywood, whatever you see that is happening there, whatever, that's not America.
Yeah. Right.
That isn't.
Right.
And she was telling somebody else, but that stuck in my head. I'm like, okay. Again, I was 7. And she said, what America is small towns, traditional values. Yeah. And that's what keeps that country great.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't really understand.
Right.
So to me, that stuck with me. And obviously now I can tell you 100% that's what it is.
Yeah.
And again, nothing against people in big cities or Hollywood or whatever. But really, it's keeping your word, right? Yeah. Doing what you're supposed to do, respecting your neighbor, simple stuff.
Yeah. Morals, ethics, values.
Yes.
All of the important stuff.
And to people like you and I, that we're self-made, to a point, right? To a degree.
Right.
We think of that and we're like, okay, this is simple. This is kind of like common sense to us, right? But again, common sense is not so common anymore.
It's not.
What do you think that is? What do you think that is?
Oh, people are in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the cloud because I don't know what else to call it. We're in the age where information is everywhere.
Correct.
And it's an overload.
Yeah.
And some people, I think, lack maybe critical thinking skills.
Yep.
There's probably a lot to that onion.
Yes. There's definitely a lot.
A lot to the onion.
Yeah. It's not a one answer kind of thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff clouds judgment.
Yeah, 100%.
And with all the information out there too, it's, a lot of people don't know how to do their own research.
Yeah. That's true.
They rely on other people, other people's facts about a certain subject.
100%.
And it could be maybe they do want to do their own research. They just don't know where to look.
Yeah.
They don't know where to go.
Yeah. Correct.
The information that we have available to us is crazy. For example, I'm really curious about Russia. Mm-hmm. And so I've been researching Russia for like the last 2 or 3 months. Mm-hmm. And it's opened my eyes. Mm-hmm. Stuff that I would have never known about if I hadn't dug in. Mm-hmm. So just, people critically thinking about things and researching and finding the avenues to research those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to not getting into politics, but like literally, Russia and what's happening right now, like people just are so oblivious to it.
Yes.
They just don't understand what could potentially happen or how, like, us, basically, I would say promoting or maybe not promoting, but supporting a different agenda in the repercussions that it could have in our country.
Absolutely.
And that's huge.
It is
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
So, okay. So with that, I mean, obviously I'm very curious to know about your brand and, how you've started, made it into, the whiskey industry, which is a pretty cutthroat industry.
It is.
And, I was doing my research. I don't drink, by the way. I don't know if you know this about me.
What's funny is I don't either.
Oh, really? Well, there you go.
I'm a taster.
There you go. There you go. That's interesting.
I know. Yeah. I have a big, I like self-control.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like things having control over my judgment. Uh-huh. And so if I do drink, which is usually once a year at the Whiskey Awards, we do it in Vegas. That's the only time I drink is during the Whiskey Awards.
Good for you.
Yeah. I just, it's important to be an example for responsible drinking.
Yeah.
Because people
100%. Get
out of control. And the whiskey brand I created is 90 proof. It'll burn all the way down. So
it'll get you drunk.
It'll get you drunk. Yeah. And you have to practice responsible drinking. Yeah. You just have to.
For sure. For sure. So here I have a bottle, guys. I'll show you. This is it right here. You can see Hannah, which is her, and Hooch. What is that from?
So the top is me, obviously. So it's my signature. That's actually my signature.
Okay, this is cool.
And then Hooch is an illicit whiskey or a kind of a moonshine type of thing. So it's a play on words.
Okay.
And then I love the movie with Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what it's called now. Anyway, so yeah, play on words, and it's I think it took me probably 2 years to come up with that name. I'm like, what's the perfect name? But
that's a funny thing. Like we entrepreneurs, we stress about little things like that, like the name. You know what I mean?
Still,
yeah,
of names, because that's what I do. Is I have a notebook that has business ideas on it.
Yeah,
and and I've had this since I was 18 years old.
Yeah, and
it's I'll cross something off or whatever. And usually, like COVID years, 2020, I wrote probably 10 business plans for different, businesses or whatever. Yeah. So this is one of those things.
Yeah.
But I started in 2012 as a food and beverage director for a private golf club in Payson.
Oh, okay.
And that was the Rim Golf Club.
Uh-huh.
I became a sommelier, which is a wine expert.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a barrel as a gift from one of my vendors. And I just started throwing ingredients into it. I used a White Dog mash, which is an unaged version of whiskey, basically moonshine.
Yeah.
And the barrel ages it.
Okay.
And so I was just experimenting. How do I age this? How does it work? What's the chemistry of it? I'm a research nut.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how it works.
Yeah.
And it's a process.
Yeah.
And then I kind of batched it with cherries and made like a batched Manhattan in this barrel. And then started tasting some of the members on it, and they loved it. And then I started blind tasting them next to some really high-end whiskeys, and they were choosing mine over it. And I'm like, what if I decided to create my own brand? Like, what would that look like?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the idea started.
Correct. I love that.
Yeah. And there was no roadmap.
Yeah. And here's one thing, like, you know how like a lot of people that are already successful, they say, hey, follow your passion, follow what you love, which there's truth to it. But like the thing is, you know, you were already working somewhere.
Yeah.
You're already putting in, you know, burning midnight oil or burning the candle on both ends, right? You were like working really hard. This opportunity showed up and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I like this. A lot of people think that you either stumble upon success, which is not the case,
right,
or that you need to stop everything, don't go to work, you know, go to freaking, you know, Timbuktu or, you know, a mountain or something.
Yeah.
And meditate for, 12 months, a sabbatical, whatever.
That sounds so nice.
Then you're gonna, and then you're going to find your passion, but it's not the case.
It's
you
not.
know, you find your passion as you work hard.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you do. You find it as you work through it.
As you work through it, you know, and this is what I see, you know, I talk to entrepreneurs every so often, right? Or every day pretty much. And I see that pattern, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. As you know, you go through tribulations or hardship. You
I like that word.
So much.
Write it down,
yourself,
guys.
right?
Tribulations. Okay, go ahead.
You just learn so much about yourself.
Yes.
You know, what you can handle, what you can't handle.
Yes.
And it helps character development.
Yeah.
So everything that I've been through with Hannah and Hooch, and it's been rough.
Yeah.
I'm saying my first batch, I lost $60,000.
Wow. Can you say that again one more time?
My first batch, I lost $60,000.
Ouch, that hurts.
And it's little old me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It was I cried on that one.
Yeah.
So it's been difficult.
Yeah.
But you keep pushing.
Yeah.
And you keep moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. You go through that first batch, $60K, lost money. Probably the people that were supporting you at first, they were like, hey, you know, it's time to call it quits, right?
Yeah.
Everybody around you, it's like, okay, you know, you're done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the average Joe would be, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through something similar. Okay, at that point, what pushed you to say, you know what, no.
I couldn't give up.
Okay,
oh,
why?
No. I don't know if there's a necessary
You had everything reason. No, you had all the reasons to give up. You had all the reasons to give up.
No, I didn't. I had this goal in mind.
Yes.
And I was going to reach it.
I love that.
No matter what happened.
I love that.
Yeah. It wasn't a choice of giving. I don't even think that was on the table for me. Mm-hmm. That wasn't an option. It wasn't in my 5-year plan.
Gotcha.
Giving up was not in the 5-year plan.
Yeah. You're like, no, this is happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Things happen.
Yeah.
And I understand, you know, tribulations.
Yeah.
You know, they help you learn.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. Me too.
That's why I teach my kids.
Yeah.
You know, you don't learn anything when you're winning.
Yeah.
You just don't.
100%.
Yeah.
So when you're crying, right, is that when you're like, okay, it's been a day or two, or I don't know, however long it took you to feel sorry about yourself or for yourself.
It was a day.
Okay.
24 hours.
Full-blown day.
Give yourself 24 hours, collect everything, and then keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and then at that point, it's like, okay, then nothing is going to, you know, because the thing is, I cannot focus on like, are you going to focus on the problem or are you focus on resolving the problem? Because those are two different things.
It is.
And I tell that to my kids too.
Yeah. Your energy is so important. So where do you want to focus your energy?
Yes.
Do you want to focus it on the negative or do you want to focus it on the positive and moving forward?
Correct.
You have to pivot.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur, there's stuff that comes at you all the time. Yep. You have to be able to pivot and move forward.
Yeah. Pivoting is very crucial for any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I feel like in life, you know, in general, but if you're really going to go into entrepreneurship, like it's just so fast pacing.
Yes.
I mean, the truth is we live in the best economy that ever existed in the world, you know, in humankind, you know, which is America. But at the same time, that's our best friend.
Yeah.
But it's also our worst enemy in the sense that another guy that can do the same thing, showing up and coming after you.
Exactly.
So you got to pivot.
There's so much opportunity.
Yes.
There's so much.
Yes.
I think some people, get so bogged down with being in the negative energy.
Yes.
Why can't I do this?
Correct.
Or, they just get use your energy wisely.
Yeah.
You have to use it wisely.
And as you get older, you get wiser too.
Yeah.
And you understand that energy is a real thing.
It is.
We're not machines. As much as we would, in our 20s or even early 30s, we would love to believe that we're machines. We're not machines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are, made out of different biology, chemistry that, we need to sleep at least, 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I
sleep like a rock.
Exactly.
Like a rock.
So with that means that when you wake up, you got to find, okay, what's going to be my successful or not successful, most productive time?
Right.
Is it in the morning? And you find your groove, right? But then by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? I need to go on a run, or I need to go have family time.
Yep. You have to prioritize that. I call that self-care.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize that.
And it really isn't, so I think like self-care, and I don't know, because I'm in social media, right? And I see these people saying self-care. But yeah, it's more than just self-care. It's like really understanding your body, understanding what works for you.
Exactly.
That's really all it is.
It is.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
And then, put the kids to bed, and then you're like, okay, I need to put in an hour of emails because I don't want to wake up the next day to 1,000 emails, right? Or whatever it is that you need to do or the next project.
Yep.
So I think that obviously, not quitting is crucial for any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Understanding that half the battle, guys, okay? Half the battle is just showing up.
Absolutely.
Staying in the ring.
Yeah.
That's really half the battle.
Yep.
Because the other guy, the other person that we don't know about their story right now, they lost the 60K and they quit. They call it quits.
We
don't know about them right now.
Right.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
They went back to a regular job, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't come through or follow through on their dreams, So, okay, so you didn't quit. What happened then?
Well, that was our first year we did the whiskey awards.
Uh-huh.
Those bottles were different than these bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 1,356 of those bottles. They were square.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the bottles before COVID hit.
Okay.
And we launched COVID year.
Okay.
Which was crazy.
2020. Okay.
I wrote the business plan, the financial model before COVID year.
Yep.
The bottles were square. They called them the Liberty bottles. And I wanted to source everything from the United States. You can see on the back, I have the American flag.
I love it.
On the bottle.
I love that.
I wanted to source everything from the United States, celebrating the American dream.
Yeah.
When COVID hit and then we had an administration change, glass manufacturing was crazy.
Yeah.
Manufacturing plants were moving out of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They were prioritizing the bigger brands over me, and I was the low woman on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Because I was, a new emerging craft brand, and they didn't prioritize giving me any bottles.
Correct.
So I had to make a split decision to change the look of the brand.
Okay.
On a whim. And that was almost suicide. It's brand suicide to change your image, after you've already launched.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So that took me, I was about 3 weeks on deciding what the heck I was going to do.
Yeah.
On that.
And obviously on those 3 weeks, again, guys, it's not just 3 weeks thinking about it. It's 3 weeks of a lot of phone calls, a lot of research, moving around, going to whatever it is that you need to do, right?
I was calling manufacturing plants all over the world.
Due diligence.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that our viewers, right, they understand. When you're saying I sat on it for 3 weeks, that doesn't mean sitting on it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The manufacturing plant that did the original bottle, which I only have a few of those left. Right now, they're sitting at the Beverage place, which is in Payson. Okay. I released them to the public for Christmas time. Yeah. I hand etched every single one of those bottles. Gotcha. During COVID while homeschooling my kids. Yep. I had to learn calculus for my kids for a test. Wow. From YouTube.
There you go.
So he could pass a calculus test because my son was honor roll student, AP classes. Yeah. You know, you don't want him to fail. No. So you learn calculus. Yes. Anyway, so those square bottles. Yeah. They're at the Beverage place in Payson. Okay. To purchase. And once they're gone because that's manufacturing plant moved to India. Gotcha. And they're not even done yet. So these bottles, I got them from Taiwan. Okay. They're an ally. Uh-huh. So they're not directly manufactured in the United States because all glass manufacturing moved out of the United States.
Period. So there's no way you can get it anyway.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Not today, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it'll come back.
It'll come back. I hope it does. I hope, because that was the dream. It will. Producing everything from America. Yeah. Supporting American business and all of that. That was the dream. Yeah. And going forward with this. Yeah. So this is actually the second batch that I did. Uh-huh. That first batch was only 1,300 some odd bottles. Oh, and wow. Then this batch. Yeah.
Wow, second batch. I feel privileged. Even though I'm not going to drink it.
I know.
But I'm going to have it here.
It's good. It's good. The first batch, so we went to the Whiskey Awards. And it was our first year there. I was so nervous. Because
That was 2021?
2021. Okay. February 2021. We won gold. Wow. At the Global Spirit Awards.
That's amazing.
And you were at this event with brand owners. I mean, all of the big ones.
Tell me.
Buffalo Trace, Angel's Envy, Macallan, all of them. Wow. And this is not only American whiskey. This is tequila. This is wine. This is all across the board. Yeah. Industry greats are here. Yeah. And I'm like little old me from Payson, Arizona, trying to, celebrities make their brands all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's not every day that a normal small town girl goes and makes her brand.
Yeah, correct. That's true.
And then the second year we went and
just a quick question. Yeah. What do they judge you on? Is it taste or what is it taste, all like the categories? Look, okay. Yep.
Palate, all of that. And there's different categories. So I entered American whiskey.
Got you. Okay.
Even though this brand is a straight rye. So it's 95% rye, 5% barley.
Got you.
But we entered for American whiskey.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
And there was, I want to say probably about 10 or 12 different judges from every continent. Just from all over the world judging these brands. And they're blind tasting them. Oh. They don't see your brand. They're blind tasting and then you win your award. Yeah.
So that makes it even more legit, obviously. Yeah. That's amazing.
Very prestigious.
Yep. That is amazing. So gold, 2021.
2021 gold. Okay. Second year, 2022, went back to the Whiskey Awards. It was the second batch. Okay. The round bottles. We won platinum. Wow. So we placed with all of the big brands. I mean, we were dancing with the big dogs.
That's amazing.
And then this last year, we won double gold.
Good
same
job.
Batch. So I walk in to the party, the main party of the night, and it's all brand owners. Yeah. They're all visiting. And, there's booths everywhere. Yeah. It's wonderful. And I'm shaking hands, introducing myself. And they're like, we know who you are. That's when I knew I had made it. Yeah. Because they knew, they watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, especially if you're already winning these awards, it's like, who is this girl from Payson, Arizona?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yep. I have the European ambassador for Macallan. She lives in Spain.
Okay.
She's wonderful. She handed me her card and she's like, anytime you're in Spain, come stay in my flat.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. So in the liquor industry, there's not a lot of women brand owners.
Okay.
It's getting more prevalent, which is awesome. But there's not a lot of women brand owners or women distillers, but they're evolving.
Okay.
They're getting better.
Got you.
And the industry is extremely supportive.
Got you.
So the ones who may nitpick a little bit are the actual connoisseurs.
Yeah.
But the actual brand owners, our master distillers are extremely supportive.
Nice. That's really good.
So that was, you're not walking into the wolf den.
Yeah.
A dog eat dog.
But in a way, you wear because, it's male dominant. So you're like, already coming in and like, oh, okay, I don't see a lot of women here, right? So it's definitely intimidating. Even though they were super supportive, which is great, because in other industries, that's not the case.
Right.
Yeah. Our industry, construction, solar industry, and it's definitely not the case.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I did a little stint with government contracts with an electrical contracting firm and ran into that. With project managers and
100%.
Being a woman.
Yeah, 100%, for sure. So then at that point, okay, so you got all these awards. You mentioned, you feel like, okay, now I'm really on the map, right? What's something that you think that got you there? Like, because we're talking now about the specifics of the brand. Like, how did you develop it as far as like the quality of it, and why do you think you're there?
So a big contributor to that is my distillery, which is out of North Carolina.
Okay.
And how they produce it.
Oh, got you.
So it's a straight rye whiskey. And we macerate it in black cherries for 2 weeks after we age it.
Got you.
And then bottle it, and then they ship it to me here. My license is only for the state of Arizona.
Got you.
And so it's only available in the state of Arizona.
Got you.
I'm still too small to go to the other states.
Got you.
So there's liquor licenses that are required in each state to distribute in each state. So I'm kind of in this waiting pattern of I'm still too small to go to other locations, which eventually we'll get there.
Did you actually develop the recipe or however with that distillery?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I gave them the recipe and then they manufactured it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yep.
So that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Okay.
Yep. That's how it works.
Okay.
I tasted whiskey from so many different distilleries around the nation.
Yeah.
Thought about going with somebody in Arizona, but North Carolina, they have good water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it all affects the taste.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. I was very impressed with the distillery there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, to talk about the specifics of geography and how it affects the taste. Because, for example, like, I'm from South America, and the first time I went to Hawaii, I saw a pineapple and I opened it and it's yellow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I ate it. It was super tasty, like better than the pineapples in South America. So I was like, okay, whatever. That night, I'd go and do research. I'm like, okay, are pineapples from South America? Are pineapples from Hawaii? Because everybody talks about pineapples from Hawaii. And pineapples are not really from Hawaii.
Yeah.
They're from South America. So Dole actually brought the banana brand, right? The Dole, the big Dole brand. They were like, oh, this is a nice, fruit. Let's bring it to Hawaii. And it was the same seed that was brought to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it has a totally different pineapple than in South America. The pineapple is a little more white, like it's not yellow, and it's not as sweet as the pineapple in Hawaii. So obviously the pineapple in Hawaii is way better, but it came from over here, So it's like ridiculous.
It's a whole scientific process.
Yes, to
like
think about
the minerals that are coming through the roots in the soil to the sun and how close it is to the water, all of it. It's kind of like wine.
Yes.
Going back to, I'm a sommelier.
Yep.
And it was the hardest test I've ever taken in my life, by the way. I had to blind taste 25 different wines. Tell you what vintage it was, what variety the grape was, what region and what sub-region it came from, just on the taste.
Yep.
Wild.
Wow. That is crazy.
It was crazy. I don't know if I could do it again.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but it's true what you say.
Yes.
Though,
yes.
Different climates, different regions affect the taste of things. It's a scientific process.
Yeah, it just makes a difference, and obviously at that point you're like, you want to go with whatever is going to be best for your brand and your taste and your quality. And in this case, it was North Carolina, which is great. That's amazing.
It was great. If I ever decide to build my own distillery, I could take my recipe with me and I own everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, okay, so like talking about that, you're protected then, right? I mean, they cannot go and give the same recipe to somebody else or anything like that.
Yep, everything's patented and trademarked.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
How does it work? Because, Coca-Cola, that they say they have like a formula, right? That they don't share with anybody.
Yeah.
Same thing with KFC. It's locked behind, this crazy vault.
The vault. They're never going to release it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in your line of business, is that true? Like, do you have something that you don't share with those guys, or they see everything?
I'd share it.
Okay.
I'd share it.
Okay.
I don't have anything to hide on my brand. And if somebody wanted to try to replicate it, good luck.
Yeah. That's funny.
My name is still Hannah.
Yes.
And I still created Hannah and Hooch.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I support entrepreneurship. And if somebody else wants to attempt it, I'll probably cheer them on.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You sound like Elon Musk. I don't know if you've seen this interview where he actually goes in and says, because somebody's asking him, telling him, hey, those patents, like, this is new technology and you just have them out in the open. And he's like, yeah, because I want them to do it.
Why not?
And if they do it better than me and they put me out of business, so be it.
Yeah. I'm not selfish.
Yeah. Because he's like, my mission is to actually transition the world to what is Tesla's mission? Something like rapid changing or something with electric vehicles, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, that was his mission, and he doesn't care if he gets to that mission by himself or with other companies,
right. Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about,
it
right?
Is.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially somebody that's developing new technology. In your case, like something that, again, gold award winning, right? It's like something where you're like, oh, no. This is something I want to protect, but if somebody wants to, go do something similar, of course, cheer them on.
Yep.
Yes.
Game
I love
on.
that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll sit down and, we can do a round table over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll share every ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made my own roadmap. I'll throw it on the table.
Yeah.
Anything to help entrepreneurs, try to live out their dreams. It's important.
Which is not traditional business thinking, right? I mean,
it's not, but we're human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Relationships are important.
Yeah.
And helping people is important.
I know.
So I had, I'm the president of a domestic violence organization.
Okay.
A nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And I struggled because domestic violence, a lot of contributing factors is alcohol. Uh-huh. And I'm like, I'm releasing this alcohol. Mm-hmm. But I ultimately decided it was, I have to be the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah, correct.
So
because it's the same concept as guns, right?
Exactly.
Guns are not bad as people. Same thing with alcohol may not be bad.
Exactly.
It's really the people drinking it.
Exactly. Yeah. Responsible living.
Yeah,
responsible drinking.
Yeah.
100%. Yep. So
that's
the concept.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So talking about, obviously blood, sweat, and tears, right? And the time that you actually cried, right?
A lot.
What do you think gets to, like, for entrepreneurs, gets us to that point where we're like, oh, shoot, like, we can just let it all out. We need to cry.
You
why is
get
that?
overwhelmed. Maybe there's a lot going on. You just get overwhelmed and you don't know the direction you need to go.
Yeah.
So in instances like that, for myself anyway, just take a day.
Yeah.
Think about it. What are your options?
Yep.
Look at the facts. Try not to get really emotional about it, because we can make emotional decisions.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Being emotional about something that's happening in your business is normal.
Yep.
You got to look at the facts, though. And what is the best move forward?
Yep.
It may just be a step, in the right direction.
Yeah.
But you got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So take a look at the facts and then choose whatever the best way forward would be.
Yeah. So, and it is the dark times. So I want to talk a little bit about the dark times. So, so take a look at the steps, then move forward. With that, though, you're in a position, where the banks, let's say, they don't want to give you more money because they already give you 60 grand and you blew it.
Yep.
So they're like, see ya.
Yep.
You don't have more capital
Yep.
to continue with the brand. And that's why I said it earlier, and I wanted to go back into this topic because it's so important for people to understand. It's like, okay, I really believe you have every reason to quit, right?
Yeah.
Because again, a bank saying no, I'm not giving you more money. Your family members are basically not being supportive. Even the few that were being supportive, they're not anymore. You may have, self-doubt, obviously, on your own.
Right.
100%.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
The people that, that were giving you, you just talked about this, which is, these last manufacturers, they left the country.
Yeah.
Right? And these are things, this one for sure is something you cannot control. And even all these other ones you can't control because it already happened.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I already lost 60K. There's no controlling that.
Yeah.
It already happened.
Yep. Yep.
So you have all these reasons to quit, right?
Yeah.
All these, things that are like working against you.
Yeah.
How do you pull yourself out of that dark time?
Well, you can't work on something that you can't control.
Yeah.
You can't control something you can't control.
Correct.
So you have to focus, put your energy into things that you can control.
Perfect.
That's first thing. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time and your energy on something you have no control over.
Yeah.
So freaking out over all of these bad things that are against you, it's not going to help the situation. I keep a journal. It has helped me so much. Not only like personal development, but also business development.
Yeah.
So I keep a journal. If something's bothering me, I write it in the journal.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I revisit it and I go cross it out. If it's no longer relevant, but at least it's not stirring in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah.
Because it's out of my head. It's on that piece of paper. I'm not going to forget about it because it's on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Journal has been like probably my number one piece of advice for somebody.
Okay.
Is to keep a journal.
Okay.
Not only for that self-development, but also for business too. You got 5 things up against you. What can you control? That's what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
What are your options for your next move?
Correct.
And one of those options might be giving up.
Yeah.
One of those, and it might work that way.
Yeah.
You're going to have to revisit your business plan.
Yep.
What makes the most sense?
Correct.
And if closing makes the most sense, then you have to move that direction.
Yep.
But you have to look at the facts and you have to take the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's your baby.
Yeah.
When you start a business, it is your baby. You put everything that you have into it. Everything.
Yes.
And so you're emotionally invested in it.
Big time.
You want to see it blossom. You want to see it grow.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it logically.
Correct.
You can't look at it emotionally because you're running a business.
Yeah.
And business is business.
Yeah. And that's why when it comes to entrepreneurship, I know that people that are successful, they start slow and small.
Yeah.
In the sense of they don't go ask for $1 million, loan from the bank. Real business is not made that way. It's not done that way. In fact, the banks are probably not going to give you that money. Right. You know what I mean? So you start, bootstrapping it.
Yeah.
100% bootstrapping it.
Yep.
And I can ask you right now, actually, was those $60K, self-funded?
Yes. Everything.
Do you see that?
Everything was self-funded.
You just proved my point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So same thing with me. I self-funded. My dad gave me a loan, which was, it was super low. And it was $20K. And I had some money saved up. And that's how I started my company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, in my case, almost fully self-funded, 40%, no, 60% self-funded. But the majority of entrepreneurs, that's how they start.
Yeah.
And that teaches you because number one, it's your money that you're putting on the line.
Yeah.
Right. And number two, there's no safety net in that sense.
Right.
You're burning the boats, right? So you're just having to, like you said, okay, at this point I lost 60, but my other option is to go back to this other job that I probably don't like.
Yeah.
And my heart's not in there anymore. Not that you hate, it's just your heart's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You've outgrown it, right? So like, okay, I want to develop or pursue this new passion that I have or this new avenue in my life, and then there's no option, right? It's like you said, there's no option to quit. Why? Because I'm already on this path.
Yeah.
Bottom line is you're on that path and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, you're just already on that path.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'll tell you with the Hooch, totally self-funded, never asked a dime from any bank. Basically just kept getting other jobs to fund it.
There you go.
Multiple businesses.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's wild.
It is wild. And it's amazing because again, it's money that you're saving. You also have a family, right?
Yeah.
That you have to support for.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like it's tough because you're balancing these decisions. Talking about that other baby, it is another baby because first few years in business, you're not really making much money.
Right.
You know what I mean? In fact, I learned this from Cody Sanchez, which is majority of business owners, I think is 90% of them, they only see a good payout or only see like a good money when they transact. Yeah. When they actually exit the business, when they sell it to somebody else. That's the only time they actually see some real money.
Yeah.
Before then, it's almost like you're a glorified, team member, employee, right? That you're paying yourself whatever, but it's not really what people think is glamorous. Where like, oh, you can buy a yacht or you can go and buy a jet.
Right.
None of that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe when I sell it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really when, and that's why people sell businesses is because that's when they can actually, see the actual fruits of their labor.
Yeah.
That's the only time. She was talking about 90%. Think about that.
Yeah.
90%.
I can see that.
Yes, which is huge.
Huge.
It's huge. So with that, I mean, obviously, you're developing or you've developed an amazing brand. What do you think, you talked a little bit about branding. I feel like that would be very important for people to understand. And also me, like, I'm curious, like what's branding? Like, how does that affect your company? Like what's branding look like?
Well, everything is branded as far as this label has to be approved by the federal government on both sides. They have to give their stamp of approval, their COLA approval. The liquor that's on the inside has to be approved by the federal government also. Wow. And so I have 4 licenses to sell this. I have federal, state, local, and then the actual liquor that's on the inside.
Gotcha.
So the branding part of it, that's all inclusive. Because you can create a name and you can create a recipe, but if it's not approved, you can't sell it.
Correct.
And so that's part of the steps with, doing your own liquor brand, going through all of those steps. And luckily I had the distillery that could help me navigate all of that.
Yeah.
So I gave them the recipe. They created it. They submitted it to the federal government.
Gotcha.
I created the label, all the wording, even it says Hannah and Hooch, and then it says black cherry, straight rye whiskey infused with black cherries. So when you taste this, it's not sweet. It's a rye whiskey, so you got to think of it's spicy.
Okay.
It's peppery.
Okay.
It's got a punch to it.
Gotcha.
It's 90 proof, which is very intense. So like I said, it'll burn all the way down.
Yeah.
I had to put black cherries on there because we soak it in real black cherries. Some people are allergic to black cherries. You have to disclose this stuff.
That makes sense. Okay.
And it's funny, in some of the whiskey brands that they make, they do a caramel color. It's like a preservative.
Okay.
Like, I don't want preservatives in my whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't want them in there. So I didn't put it in there.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they let me do that.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, obviously, it's not just about, building the brand. It's all about the licensing, everything that goes into it.
Exactly.
Right? That you may not know going into an industry.
And each state has different rules.
100%.
When it comes to alcohol.
Yeah.
So they're all different. Arizona is different than California. Yeah. California is different than Nevada.
Yeah.
It's all different.
Is Arizona pretty loose?
The liquor laws really haven't changed since Prohibition.
Oh, really?
In any state.
Oh, wow.
They're very similar to...
Everywhere.
Got
you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So early on, 2021, possibly 2022, I got accepted into Total Wine. Which is 43 locations from California to New York. I have no way of getting it there because I don't hold a license in those 43 locations.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm in this limbo pattern right now.
Are they letting you, like, in the locations here in Arizona at least?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
In Total Wine here.
Got you.
Which I could, but they're a big brand. Total Wine. Someday we'll get there.
Good.
We're still young.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you say that understanding, hey, I'm still young.
Yeah.
Yep. Still young.
And we can take our time.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Yep. It's been fun. A lot of it has been a fun learning experience.
Yeah.
I would have never known, the landscape if I hadn't have dug in.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And obviously, it's just funny because, what social media is teaching us, all of us, not just kids, all of us, that you can get a reward very fast, very quickly. It's about the hit. It's like, let's get it now,
Yep.
But nothing in life, nothing that's worth having,
right, is
easy. Comes easy or fast.
Exactly.
And that's the part where, like, I love that you said, yeah, we're still young, we're growing,
Yeah. And it's my philosophy is still, you don't learn anything when you're winning.
I love that.
You just don't.
You do not learn anything.
It's all about learning.
It's fun to win, though.
It is so fun to win. It is fun to win. But I'm a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
And I'll learn till they put me in the grave.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything that I can learn about the world or myself or the whiskey or business or whatever it is, I'm all about it.
I love that.
It's character development.
100%. So here's something that I wanted to kind of go into, which is this beautiful flag.
Yeah.
So, you talk about sourcing everything from America, To some people that may sound like, oh, okay, nationalist or whatever, it might have like, I don't know. Nowadays, everything has a bad connotation to it.
Right.
But, this is our space. And I can tell you that there's actually a business sense to that.
Yeah.
It's not just about the fact that you're like, oh, okay, I want, everything from America because I'm a very proud American. It's not just about that.
Right.
It really is, like you said, look at the facts. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my facts.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2020, same story. Before 2020, I was buying solar panels from China. And that's what I did. and right around 2020, it was really tough to get them just because of, supply. And I think it hit every single industry.
Yeah.
So we were having a hard time getting solar panels. Okay. One of those good days, our customers, a couple of them call and say, hey, I think my solar panel needs to be replaced because it's under warranty, whatever. But we go and take a look, and indeed, we needed to replace it, and it was under warranty. We call the factory in China, and the same guy that answered, same exact guy, okay? And he said, yeah, but that company is no longer in business. I'm like,
boy.
Dude, I'm calling the same line, and I'm talking to you, bro. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, no, here in China, what we do is like when things get a little crazy, we just change our name and that's it. So that warranty is void. So that you don't have a warranty.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
So obviously on my side, I had to do what was right for that customer.
Yeah.
And I went and bought a different solar panel. And from that point on, really, I've only bought American-made solar panels.
Yeah.
American-made, all my components that I install are American-made. That's just one example, okay? Now, the second piece to that is, here in Arizona, we have bashes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to the bashes in Payson. I'm going to see you. I'm going to see Hannah. Hey, how's it going?
That's where I shop.
There you go, right?
Yep.
So it's a grocery store. So I will see you. And I care about that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm supporting you.
Yep. Building relationship.
Correct. If I'm buying whiskey from, let's say Europe, right? Who am I supporting?
Right.
Right? And that economy, I'm making somebody over there better. They're going to be better off with my hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Which again, I could be putting that back into, America.
Yeah.
Now there's this book, and I may be butchering the name because I read it a long time ago. It's The Jewish Way of Doing Business. Okay. And every $1, okay, before it leaves the Jewish community, it circles within the Jewish community 10 times.
Wow. Wow.
So, they go and shop at the Jewish bakery, and that baker goes to the Jewish barbershop.
They support each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what economy is. Like, people need to understand this. And I feel like they just don't understand it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So that's the second piece. Why American-made, buying American-made is so important.
Support each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Somebody else has a dream.
Yes.
That they're working for in their family, and you support them. Yeah. That's exactly why the flag is on the bottle.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And there might be other reasons. Again, we talk about pride. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to go into like, okay, because a lot of people just associate, like the flag or whatever. It's like, no, hold on a second. Right. This also makes business sense.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah.
And it actually is going to help you at the end of the day, because that barber, that went through the bakery, that got into like the school teacher, and then before that was whoever else, right? It's like it's circling within that community, right? That same $1.
Yeah.
Eventually comes back to you.
Yeah, it does.
You don't understand that, That's what economy is.
Yeah.
And like you said, the beginning of the conversation is like the media is telling us, I should say, what did Elon Musk call it? The legacy media.
Yeah, right.
So the legacy media is telling us that no, that's wrong. We got to be global. And there's nothing wrong with that as far as like getting, apples from Chile or I don't know, whatever it is, right? Or bananas from Ecuador, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what can we actually produce here?
Right.
Because we are producers.
We are.
Big time.
Yeah.
In fact, that's
we're capable.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And also like, a lot of people, I heard this in a different podcast, and then I actually read about it. This is the first time, 2024 is the first time where labor in Mexico is lower than labor in China.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
So how that's because at the beginning it was like, oh yeah, we're going to China because it's just cheaper labor.
Yeah.
And number two, We don't even need humans anymore to manufacture.
Oh boy. I know.
So obviously you can have the good people of America to oversee these, robots, machines, whatever, manufacturing, which is what happens.
Yeah.
And then continue to develop more manufacturing facilities, here in America.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes. Yeah, me neither.
I'm excited for manufacturing to come back to America.
Yes. How and how that affects is Elon Musk talks about this. He basically says that for every one manufacturing job, there is 4 supporting jobs.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So there's again the school teacher, the police officer,
right.
the whatever else, right? Barbershop, I keep saying, but all these things are supporting that one manufacturing job.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
It's crazy how much manufacturing has moved out of the United States.
Yes.
In the last 5 years.
Really? You see, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
As soon as 2020 hit.
Wow.
It was just cheaper to manufacture outside of the United States. And obviously,
or just making it more difficult, right?
Yeah. They're looking at the facts.
Yeah.
Without emotions in it.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, I hope it comes back.
Yeah. Which is another reason why, I'm reading this book. It's called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
So he talks about how messed up it is to have a CEO in Wall Street that all they care about is the bottom line. And
right.
then, we got to keep going up
Money
this way.
Money should never be your motivator.
And it is, though.
I know.
For these big corporations. So that's why they look at their facts.
Yeah.
That this is their facts, even though it's not good for America.
Right.
They look at their facts like you're talking about, and they move manufacturing out of America again, right? Yeah. They're like, no, I'm going to move, Right. Because the CEO is just only looking at the numbers. Otherwise, he's going to get fired.
Right.
Nothing against that CEO, but
it's true.
But money definitely should not be the motivator.
Yeah.
How do you explain that concept to somebody that's struggling with money?
Well, in my opinion, relationship building is way more important than money ever is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm selling whiskey or a house to somebody, they're going to come back to me if I'm building relationship with them.
Correct.
Later on down the road.
But Hannah, I'm hungry right now. I gotta feed my kids. I don't have any money, so I understand relationships, but I need money today.
Well, you're gonna have to work towards it. It may not come today, but you're gonna have to do what you can to get money in the bank.
Love it.
So, regardless of what it is, if you got to go work at McDonald's to get started, you can work there a couple hours a week. For me, I have 4 major responsibilities that I have to deal with that bring in residual income.
Okay.
So, and I didn't just start with one and hope for the best.
Yeah.
You gotta dig in 10 toes down and you gotta get it done.
Yes.
Because nobody is coming to save you.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen unless you put the feet to the floor and do it. So if that means if you need money right now, go drive an Uber.
Yes.
Do what you can to get the money you need right now. There's tons of opportunities.
Yeah.
You can go live on TikTok right now.
Yeah.
And make a fool of yourself online.
Yeah.
And make money doing it. People are making 6 figures doing it.
Yeah.
So there's opportunities out there for people to make money.
Gotcha.
So if you have a dream that you're trying to develop, and you don't know how you're going to finance it, there are so many streams of income that you can utilize.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck in that energy of oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You have to look at what are the facts, make your decision, move forward.
Yeah. Because I see the naysayers being like, okay, yeah, those guys, they've made it or they have money. That's why they say don't focus on money, just focus on, the relationship. So you're talking about.
Right.
And it's really it's easy for them to just call it quits and say, no, I got to go back to my job and I don't have to do this. But you could do both.
You can.
100%.
Even if you're in a business where, let's say you're in real estate and you do contracts. So you know how to read legal contracts.
Yeah.
Get a side job doing consulting.
Yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah.
Get a job online teaching English to people who want to learn English.
Yeah.
There are so many opportunities.
Yeah.
It may be overwhelming too, because there is
it will be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want it bad enough.
The difference is you're going to be stuck in that mindset of, I can't do it. Look at those people. They've already made it.
Yes.
You know, the victim mindset.
Yes.
You can either be stuck in that victim mindset or you can actually do something about it.
Big time. That's 100%.
Yeah.
That's 100% the way you build something.
Yes. Yep. I mean, you can cry it out for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Give yourself a timeline.
Yeah.
You know, you need to grieve. You need to be in that victim mindset. Give it 24 hours and then get over it and move forward.
That's true. That's true. The truth is, you know, business, and this is what Simon Sinek really says, is like it's an infinite game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, your great-grandfather that came to Arizona with 1,000 head of cattle.
Yeah.
He was doing business.
Yeah.
And your great-grandson, who knows what he's going to be doing? Hopefully, you know, continue to build this brand, you know, Hannah and Hooch.
Yeah.
He's going to also be doing business long before you're gone.
Yeah.
Right? Or long after. So this is what I mean. People don't understand that, you know, it really is about the long term rather than short term.
Yeah.
And hey, yeah, that's true. That your position right now, it's where you're having to be overwhelmed, where you're having to have 3 jobs, where you're having to do all these things to pursue your dream. Guess what? You're not the only one.
Right.
I mean, I wish you were.
And it's not cheap to live.
It's not.
It is very expensive.
Exactly.
To live in where I live, so our average home price is $450,000.
Yeah.
You'd need to make $125,000 a year to afford the mortgage on that.
Yes.
A $3,000 mortgage.
Yes.
And manufacturing jobs or industry jobs, there's not really prevalent in Payson. So you've got to get creative.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's how you got to kind of, the mindset that you need to have too, is get creative.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, reevaluate and go at it again.
Yeah. And being creative and being resourceful, right?
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the main traits that an entrepreneur will have or has, is like, you don't have to be an alpha. In fact, the majority of the big guys, you know, they're not alphas. You think about Mark Zuckerberg, you know, Bill Gates, they're not alphas.
Right.
So you don't have to be a crazy guy, it's like, or gal, you know, you don't have to be that, like, but you definitely have to be resourceful.
You do have to be resourceful.
And
so me, I'm introverted.
Uh-huh.
I don't like getting up and talking in front of a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
This has all been developed over time and practiced.
Yes.
And now I can sit here and I'm not shaken. You know?
Yes.
You can sit here and you can talk about the thoughts that are going on in your head. So
100%.
I'm not a natural extrovert.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And but again, right? It's about being resourceful.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get you success. It's about those relationships. You cannot be resourceful if you don't have the relationships, because your Rolodex is only 10 names. How resourceful can you be?
Yeah.
But if you have in your, you know, contact list, you know, 5,000 names and 5,000 phone numbers, guess what?
Yep.
You can be pretty resourceful.
Yep.
And you'd be surprised that people, like, you call them up and say, hey, man, I know I've been talking to you in 3 years, but can I grab your lunch? You know, I just sent you, you know, a gift card to Starbucks, man. Always give.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'll tell you, like, to be resourceful, you have to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be a resource for somebody else too.
Right.
Right? Because if you're not, then obviously you're not going to, it's not all about take.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kindness.
Yes.
Kindness.
Yes. You know, it is. You're right.
You don't want to take.
No, not at all. So get that guy that you need, right? Send him a, you know, 15, 20, $25 gift card. And then, hey, man, I just sent you this. I was thinking of you. I know we haven't chatted in like a couple years, but you're in the city of Phoenix, right? Yes, I'm still there. Cool, man. I would love to ask you for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you get that license, or boom, you get that permit, whatever it is.
Yep.
And being resourceful obviously helps you, you know, continuing to grow and to build that brand or that company that you want to build.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Going back to those relationships again. building relationships. It's important. Networking is super important.
Yes, 100%.
If I ever want to sell Hannah and Hooch, I would just have to call, any one of the brand owners that I know and be like, you guys looking for a brand?
Yeah.
Starting the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that would make it super easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then people come to you too because they know you have this book of business.
Yes. 100%.
Be a resource.
Yes. So obviously, being successful could mean a lot of things for different people. In your case, you were selected as a businesswoman of the year last year.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Last year.
In Gila County?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep. Gila County nominated as Small Businesswoman of the Year. A group of really incredible women.
Nice.
I mean, across every demographic you could
Got it.
It was amazing. And then they gave me a little, I got a signed plaque from the state of representatives.
Oh, wow.
With the badge and everything. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't win, but it was an honor to, be nominated for something like that and be in the presence of, people, entrepreneurs, who really knows what it takes, in the business.
Gotcha.
Very cool.
That's amazing.
Resourceful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was
for sure. Cool. That's amazing. Well, congrats on that.
Thank you. I got to bring my daughter to that with me. So
that's good.
So through this whole thing, my kids have watched, all of the hard work that's gone into all of all of this.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget that kids are sponges. They're not born knowing what to do, the next step to make.
Yeah.
They are watching every move that you make, regardless if, they say it or not.
Yes.
Sponges. So
yes,
them developing good coping mechanisms, to move through life is very important.
Yes.
I've noticed with my kids, they're natural entrepreneurs themselves. So it's inspiring for me.
Yes.
Sometimes I wish that I had more time so we could work on their little pet projects.
Yeah,
but they also have to be responsible for what they want to do too.
Yeah.
That going back to, our parents doing for us to make our lives easier.
Correct. You don't want to do too much of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, character developing. They're the future.
They are the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Teaching them the right way. COVID, I see a lot of this mental health stuff, because I'm involved with domestic violence. So the mental health is crazy in the kids since COVID. Because parents, they didn't know what to do. They had to all of a sudden homeschool their kids.
Yeah.
Not teachers.
Yep.
Plus working.
Yep.
Trying to make it work.
Yep.
I'm really concerned about the mental health of our kids going forward, our future.
Yeah.
We need to pay attention to that. All it takes is one positive role model in those kids' lives to totally change their trajectory. So pointing these kids to watching a podcast like this, it'd be incredibly important.
Yeah, 100%. So how do you say, as a woman, okay, what do you say, you're talking about balancing, like having a job or pursuing your career or your basically, dreams, right, on that side. And then also balancing, you're talking about our future, which is the kids.
Yeah.
Developing them.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would be your advice to women to be able to do both? I mean, you're successful. You're doing both.
Yeah.
How do you do both?
It's hard. I'm a single mom, so I have to be provider and nurturer. I have to do both roles. So consciously understanding that I have to do both roles to develop their character. So that's the first thing, is realizing that I have to do that. So I have to set the rules in the house, but I also have to nurture. So, doing corrective action when one of them's not doing well.
Correct.
And then coming back and nurturing that too. Or when I make a mistake, I'm a human, you know. So if I get, too loud and yelling or whatnot.
Yeah. That never happens.
Never. Angel.
Yes.
Going back in and talking it out.
Yeah.
Best thing that I've done with my kids is communicate.
Okay.
Sitting down with the kids and talking about hard subjects. I do it with their friends too. My house is considered the safe house. And so all of the kids' friends come to my house. And we sit down, we talk about business ideas.
Yeah.
We talk about hard subjects.
Yeah.
There is nothing taboo that we cannot talk about.
That's amazing.
I don't know what their parents are teaching them, And if they're going to be hanging out with my kids, we're going to talk about everything. Everything on the table.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's hard to balance. My kids would probably be considered latchkey. That's probably why my son cooked cinnamon rolls from scratch this morning. Because they've had to learn how to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And watching me too. I was in food and beverage industry. Yeah. So I used to bring them to work with me. And they'd be in there with chef, cooking up fine dining meals. Yep. So they dipped their toes in a little bit. Gotcha. But the value of that, we don't go out to eat a lot.
Yeah.
We don't do fast food a lot.
Yeah, you have to eat healthy.
We eat healthy. And we utilize everything.
Yeah.
So, and they watch all of that.
Yes.
The kids watch everything.
Yeah.
And they learn from you.
100%. Do you believe, so in this case, there's two roles, right? For a kid. Yep. The kid needs to have a provider.
Yep.
Needs to have somebody that's going to nurture them, right?
Yep.
What's your take on, do you feel like women should be more of on the nurturing? Obviously, I know that, like in your case, you have to be both.
Right.
You have no option.
Yeah.
But like somebody that, let's say, have a mom and a dad.
Yeah.
Normally, traditionally, the dad is the provider, the mom is the nurturer.
Yeah. My mindset is traditional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think we're built that way. Mm-hmm. I think we were created to be that way.
Gotcha.
For my...
you're the one carrying the baby.
Yeah. Right? I know.
It's as simple as that, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I think, in my case, I was forced to be both. Mm-hmm. And forced is kind of a heavy word, but I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, 100.
To not be both.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I think that so many times, like when you're talking about traditional or these kind of topics, which they're very controversial.
They are.
Because people are like, no, women should also work. And I have here somebody that's super successful. Yeah. That you also do have the traditional, mindset, let's just call it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, why you have that, it's because you're like, okay, I have experience, right? And the viewers or somebody listening to this may be like, but no, like, for example, like, it's good in a sense for this, situation that you're sharing all of this, because you could have a single woman, like a single parent, family.
Yeah.
That is struggling and say, but that only applies if you have two, the nurturer and the provider, right. And that's the only way that it can be a nurturer.
Right.
No. You can be a nurturer.
You can be
and
both.
You could be both. Yep. Exactly.
It's not easy.
That's the cards that you were dealt, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the hardest job that I have had.
Yeah.
And the most important above all is raising, my kids.
100%.
Yep.
It really is, Yep. I can tell you, and you're talking about being built this way, right? Is that, there's an actual study that, like, when you have babies and they cry of a baby, like, it just...
Every cell in my body. I'm not kidding. Even when they trip and fall.
Yes.
Every cell from head to toe.
Yes.
Just like, I don't know what it is.
But
neurons.
But for a man... It's different, right?
Yeah.
Ben's like, whatever, they just have different. I mean, we just build different,
right?
And
right.
And it's important to recognize that and to just understand biology, like it's just all about that.
It is. In my opinion, I think women are more emotional decision makers.
Yes.
And men are more logical decision makers. And so incorporating that when you're running a business or you're raising kids.
Yeah.
Those are important.
Yeah.
I know I've had to teach myself how to be a more logical thinker.
Yeah.
through business.
Yeah.
And through my kids.
Yeah.
So those were not natural to me. The emotional part of it was more natural.
Yeah. Yeah. And the flip side to that is on my side, I in my business, I was too like cutthroat, basically. Yeah. It's like, okay, you're not working out, I'm going to fire you. Like, this is just the way it is,
Yep.
I look at it more like on a square type of perspective instead of a round, which again, my wife would tell me all the time. It's like, hey, no. You don't know what happened here if they had a bad day today, whatever, right? It's like, oh yeah, you're right. So putting the emotion into it a little bit.
Yeah, character development.
It's important.
It is.
So with that, obviously, they talk about the future of America, which is our kids.
Yeah.
It's very important what we teach them, what we tell them.
It is. Even if you don't realize it. You could be talking on a telephone.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't know that they're listening to you.
Yes. And the example that obviously that you're setting, right, is what you're doing.
Your legacy.
Yes. Yeah. People care less about what you say, but more about what you build or what you do.
Right. Yeah.
100%.
Right.
And obviously that starts with your kids.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, like, I really think it's such an important calling, right? To
absolutely
develop and raise and do all these things with your kids.
Yeah.
It's such an important calling.
Well, how many people are they going to go forward and talk to in their lifetime? That stone you throw in the water and that ripple effect that it has, So it's important what you're feeding them. Yeah. Not only physically, but, emotionally too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. In India, they have the betrothal, right? I mean, the kids are betrothed to marry somebody specifically, whatever.
Yep.
And their divorce rate, I don't have the facts right now, but it's so low. And it's because, they understand, okay, I know how that kid was raised.
Yeah.
I raised them the same way. And it may sound boring, right? To like some people, it's like, no, I don't want to be with somebody that's just so much like me.
Yeah.
But there's some power to it, right?
Right.
And then they just know.
Equally yoked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so important too.
Absolutely.
And that's talking about, what works, and it's not just about being traditional. It's about what just works.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We try to reinvent the wheel.
We do. All the time.
Yes.
We do. Darn Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, we try, right? But there is a point where, like, some things in life you don't need to reinvent.
Yeah. Right.
You just need to go and basically follow and do what you're supposed to do, and that's it.
Yep. Be a good human.
Yes. Yes. Such a concept.
It is. It's hard.
Yes.
I think as humans, some of us struggle with being kind.
Yes. Yep.
Or I think it exerts a little more energy to go out of your own way and not be selfish.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's all about service.
It is.
You love who you serve.
I think everybody should be involved in the service industry at least once in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Some kind of job, do something for somebody else.
Yes.
Whether it's volunteering or actually working.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Correct.
I think it's so important for character development to do the service industry.
Yeah. On my side, I always say, like, people need to, because I started in solar, knocking doors. So
I started knocking doors too.
Yeah.
At 18, down here.
That's amazing.
Knocking doors, selling auto glass.
There you go.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, they're still doing that.
I know they are. I wouldn't do it again. No way.
They're still doing that. So, yes, correct. So it's the same thing, putting yourself out there, right? Understanding how life works, you know, how human interactions, like how that really kind of pans out. Oh, if I smile like this, people are more likely to talk to me. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If I name drop, people are more likely to, open the door. If I do X, Y, and Z, right? I mean, those are the things that kids need to learn, or everybody, everybody. So let's go into, timeout.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit. I want you to tell me, like, were you the founder of this?
No.
Okay, what is it?
I can't claim that I'm the founder. I came in 2018. So I was married for 10 years and I was in an abusive relationship for 10 years. So coming out of that, I was just trying to navigate life because I had 2 young kids. I buried myself in work. I had this trauma that I didn't know that I had because I was, I didn't realize it. I call it going back to the cloud again. I was in the cloud.
Yep.
So I started doing volunteer work for this domestic violence shelter.
Okay.
On the board.
Okay.
And basically what's involved in
this is after your separation?
Yeah, after the separation.
Okay.
So I was divorced in 2016. So 2 years after the separation.
Okay.
Fundraising, our biggest goal with the organization is to build a new shelter.
Yeah.
We are a 24/7 shelter that houses men, women, and children from domestic violence situations.
Okay.
And we condition them to move back into society after their traumatic situations.
Gotcha.
So teaching them how to, basic skills even.
Yeah.
Even soap making we do. Classes on art. Get them out of that the fight or flight mode.
Yeah, correct.
Therapy. We offer lay legal advice to navigate the courts. Some of these people come to the shelter, they don't even have shoes.
Yep.
They're wearing the clothes they've worn for a week,
Gotcha.
So some stories are incredibly heartbreaking.
For sure. I can only imagine.
Even since COVID, the numbers have increased.
Really?
People don't realize how often domestic violence happens.
Yeah.
It does not matter what your demographic is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or child.
Yeah.
And the problem with, the kids is they see their parents fighting or whatever, going through their situation.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody to talk to. They can't talk to their parents.
Yep.
Their teachers, very limited people know how to deal with situations like that.
Yeah.
So we try to be a positive role model in the community.
For
not only the kids are the root of the issue. That's why I focus so much on kids.
Yeah, correct.
Because a traumatic situation can happen to a kid and they'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
It could, if they don't develop good coping mechanisms, they could turn into abusers themselves.
Yeah, correct.
Or victim.
Yep.
Go down the wrong path, turn into drugs or alcohol or anything can happen. It just takes that one person.
Correct.
It could be a teacher, it could be a police officer, it could be the neighbor to change their trajectory, and they can make anything of themselves.
Do you have data on this? Like actual, there's data.
There's data.
So basically talking about that one role model that these kids or a kid would need.
Yep.
Wow.
They just need one person in their life telling them they're doing a good job or to listen to them.
Yeah.
They'll remember them for the rest of their life. So looking back on, your life, is there somebody in your life who is a positive role model who you looked up to
100%
that you are forever grateful?
Yeah.
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 And I think, even the listeners can pick somebody out in their life who they are forever grateful for, being in their lives.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's important that we don't lose sight. In the domestic violence, world that I'm in, the kids are so important because they are our future.
Yeah.
And with all the traumatic stuff that went on with COVID.
Yeah.
Being homeschooled, pulled out of school. Some kids couldn't even graduate.
Yeah, wearing masks to school.
Wearing masks. It was a hard time. And us as adults, we had trouble navigating it.
Yeah.
We're like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
This is the Twilight Zone.
The end of the world.
Oh my gosh. We had trouble navigating that.
Yeah.
And so, the kids all watch that.
Yeah.
They watch how we handle it. And then they model that, for how they handle it.
Yes.
So... And a lot of parents didn't do too well.
Yeah.
Even like being on the phone with a family member about wearing masks and being upset about wearing a mask.
Yeah. Or the vaccinations.
Yeah. And, all of us have our own beliefs on all of that.
Yeah,
but
correct.
The kids are watching you get upset over the phone over that stuff.
Yeah, correct.
So how are they going to, handle those kind of situations going forward?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's going to be the same topic they're talking about, but, how are they going to handle traumatic situations going forward?
Yeah.
It's important. We got to think about that stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't always, because we're still growing too.
Yeah, correct.
I'm 38 years old. I'm still learning. Still learning how to navigate.
Yes.
but those kids, it's important.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I know my daughter, last year we were thinking about homeschooling our kids. Mm-hmm. And when we just we were literally talking between my wife and I, and she's already 10, almost 11. So she knows.
Yeah.
She already she knows when she eavesdrops,
Right.
So anyway, we were talking about this, and she literally went on panic mode.
Yeah.
Because she went through COVID.
Yeah.
And, we were talking to her, trying to get through to her, saying, no, homeschooling wouldn't be too bad. We didn't end up doing it. But, we were just trying to understand. And then literally a month or two later, my wife says, you know why she's freaking out?
Yeah. Because
she thinks that it's going to be the same. She's associating in her head. Homeschooling is I stayed at school. My mom and dad were the business wasn't doing great. There were so many stressors. So she's associating that, homeschooling with all of that. Where homeschooling is not really bad.
Yeah.
Just the fact that
right.
during COVID, she had PTSD
it's
basically.
Sensory memory.
Yes.
Sensory memory is just shooting off all the senses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally on panic mode. She was literally crying and.
Yeah.
And
it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're why is she so crazy about this?
Yeah. Yep.
But it wasn't probably she didn't even think about it, right?
She didn't.
Yeah.
It was an emotional reaction.
Correct.
And going back to, a girl
yes.
and having emotional reactions
yes.
instead of logic. Sometimes you got to teach those things.
Yeah.
You're born, as a girl.
Yeah.
Making emotional decisions. How does this make me feel?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So helping kids, right? That they're in bad situations.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess on my end, I can only imagine, it would be so heartbreaking.
It is.
For me to kind of let's say I'm in that situation. That's the same thing with social workers, right?
Yeah.
They go and having to detach this kid from this bad situation, this bad family, the kid's crying, I'm assuming it's something similar. How do you basically reconcile that to basically coming home and then now you're the owner of an actual whiskey brand and you're having to actually do a presentation that night or the next morning or getting an award or actually be there for your children? How do you actually transition, right?
You have to compartmentalize. What's that word?
yes, correct.
You have to.
Yeah. How do you do that though?
I don't know if I have a strategy.
Uh-huh.
So, and a lot of my history helps with that because I was in the domestic violence situation and my ex-husband was physical and mentally abusive.
Okay.
So, which I don't regret living through that because it taught me so much.
Made you who you are.
It did. It made me who I am. It also taught me patience. So, I'd walk on eggshells, so it taught me to step cautiously, and think about things before I said things, all of those are all learned skills that, if I hadn't have gone through that experience, I don't know if I would have known that.
Correct.
But going from there's traumatic situations that go on all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard for somebody who's never been through something like that to imagine it.
Yes.
So it's hard for somebody like the listeners if, they hear about domestic violence.
Yeah, correct.
And they hear about tragic stuff happening, but their mind doesn't go to the dark side.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
When you hear about an incident that happens with a family, let's just say a woman and their children, you have to validate that that's happened with the actual person, and help them heal through that. And then later on, I'll have to go on the radio or something and, do an interview or whatever. And it's not that I've forgotten about it, but that you have to your focus is in a different area.
That makes sense. Got you.
If you need to go back and revisit it, you can do that. But
yeah.
And then going back to what you said about, resources. So with Time Out, we have the counselors and all of that. So after you meet with them and then they move on to, another segment in their recovery, so they're out of your hands for a moment.
Okay. Yeah. It's just helping them through that process.
You have to, and they have to be the ultimate decision makers.
Yeah.
So it's a complete volunteer
Yeah.
You know, if they don't want to be there, they don't have to be there.
Correct.
Yeah. They have the freedom to choose to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of them choose to go back to their abusers.
Yeah. Correct.
Because it's normal for them. It's safe.
Yeah.
Which it's not. But but that's how their mind works.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all about, like, you're talking about, like, actually have that freedom to say, no, I want to be here.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't want to be here, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about that you can translate into business. It's like, hey, nobody has to buy this.
Right.
But if it's good, if it has good quality, if it has good taste, guess what? People will buy it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It is.
And if you're selling this, bottle of whiskey to me, and I'm happy to buy it, how much do they go for, by the way?
I can't set the retail prices, but normal prices, they're around $60
Let's say $60. Yeah. So I pay $60, for this. And I'm happy. You're happy because you set the price. You're like, okay, this is what the market's paying.
Yeah.
You and I just transacted.
Yeah.
Okay, we're happy. We do not need the government or another entity or another person to come and say, hey, hold on. No. You're charging too much.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't be buying whiskey.
Right.
Or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, any of that, I feel like, there needs to be that freedom.
Yeah. 21 or older, freedom.
Yes, 100%. Well, in this case, right? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Yeah. But there has to be, not some type of like complete freedom to be able to build something, you know? Because, I mean, otherwise, whoever is like regulating, they're not in your shoes because they're not buying it.
Right.
They're not in my shoes or your shoes they're selling. My shoes that I'm buying, right? So they don't really understand. And this is the same thing with the kids, right? In this situation, if they're in a really bad situation, they need to understand it's like, hey, this is good for you.
Yeah.
And let me show you why.
Right.
And they need to come over here and then be like, okay, well, yeah, you're right. It's not so bad. And, going through that healing process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like they're ever like fully, healed?
No.
Or?
I don't think any of us.
Yeah.
What we go through, we carry with us.
Correct.
Always.
Yes.
We just cope.
You just cope.
It's all about coping mechanisms, developing good coping mechanisms on how to deal with trauma, how to deal with, even in business, how to deal with crazy stuff that happens in business.
Yeah.
It's all coping mechanisms. Trauma happens and it never leaves you.
Correct. Just understanding that, right?
Exactly.
That's very important.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't go away.
Yes. 100%.
Even hurt doesn't go away.
No.
Trauma doesn't go away.
No.
You live with it. You use it as fuel.
Yes.
That's what I do. I use it as fuel to keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't tell me.
Don't bet against me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Watch
yes.
this.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So all that work that you do, obviously, how do you find time to do all these things? It's just...
Oh, I get asked that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm extremely organized. So, and I have to stay organized.
Yes.
But it's flowed nicely.
Gotcha.
I haven't, there's been a couple times where I've been like, oh, wow, today's a busy, busy day. But you just keep, put a smile on your face and keep moving forward. And if you have to readjust some of your schedule, then you readjust some of your schedule. And that's just the way it is. So, and then with the kids, I prioritize their well-being too. We'll take vacations together.
Correct.
We'll do family nights. We'll do cooking together. So all of that stuff is super important.
Correct.
The relationships that you have with your family and stuff.
Yeah.
We just took a cruise.
Nice.
Last in November. To Riviera, the Mexican.
Maya,
Yep. Super fun. 7 days with the kids in one room. We had the best time.
That's amazing. Did you go out of Miami or something?
We went out of Long Beach.
Long Beach. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
It was great.
That's
we
cool.
had a good time. But those, I at least do one a year. So I do one kid vacation a year, and then I do one girl vacation a year.
There you go.
because it's important who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Adult wise.
Yes.
And so I have female friends who we do one girl vacation a year, and it's to recenter.
Yeah.
Talk about what we're thankful for, what we're grateful for, how we're doing in our business, how we're going to refocus. Sometimes I get so busy personally, you know, you lose sight of that stuff sometimes because you're grinding all the time. So we at least refocus once a year.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's so great.
It's fun. It's fun. We're going in January.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going?
Mexico.
Nice.
I love Mexico.
You love Mexico. I can tell now.
Well, I do, because it's just a different feel.
It's a different feel. It's good prices over there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the beach. And in January.
Service is good.
It is.
Yeah.
January, February, the whales migrate.
Oh, yeah. That's
and so
right.
You get to watch all the whales and their babies.
True.
And it's a magical experience.
Yeah, I've never done it.
It's
amazing.
I cried. The first time I did it, I cried.
Really?
Yeah, because you could hear them talking to each other.
Wow.
It was surreal.
Did you get in the water with them, or you on the boat? Okay. They're like, no?
No.
Okay. Because I know you can do that too. So.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, no. No, we were on the boat, but it was almost... You know, they're breaching the surface, and they have their blowholes going so you can see the water in the air, and they have their babies next to them, and they're talking to each other. Yeah. You almost can't control what comes out. Yeah,
correct.
Like they're breaching the surface, and you're like, oh! It's so cool.
It's Mother Nature.
It is. It makes you feel like, how small are you compared to the whole world?
Correct.
You know? Yeah. Every living being out there.
Yes.
Pretty awesome.
It is amazing.
So they migrate in Mexico January, February, March. And then the humpbacks migrate in Alaska in July.
Yes. Yeah.
So
my son, he's 8, and he tells me all about these things.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes. For sure. Well, great. What's your handle on Instagram, so that
it's Hannah and Hooch.
Okay.
Yeah, at Hannah and Hooch on Instagram. It's that on TikTok. It's that on Facebook.
Nice. Perfect.
Yep. Hannah and Hooch, and then www.hannahandhooch.com. On there we have merchandise.
Perfect.
We have where you can find us. Yeah. Sipping and tasting and all of that.
Amazing. Yeah. We're definitely going to put it on the screen as well for you guys to follow Hannah. She's an amazing entrepreneur, trailblazer of, her industry, and then also of life. I mean, just winning in life, guys. That's really what I want you guys to do. You know, I want you guys to win in life. And that's why I'm doing this. Again, it's not about money. Trust me, I don't need to be doing this for money. But I'm doing this because, again, just talking to people like you, it just inspires, hopefully, that 1 or 2 people, I love it. That are going to get after it and accomplish bigger things, bigger than themselves, So
that's what it's about.
100%. Well, thank you for being on the pod. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It was so awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome.